Hi everybody, it's Deanna, and we are going to continue working on our recipe mini album. Now before, on page 1, I didn't realize that I hadn't done anything to the back of page 1, so we're going to correct that right now. I've decided to go with a flip, and I seen this on a video from Scrap Queen. She said she didn't come up with the idea, but that's where I got it from, so that's what I'm going to go with. So it's a 3-pocket thing we're going to connect, and it flips open this way, and then it flips open this way. It has a pocket here, a pocket here, and then this back flap will also be a pocket when it's attached to our book. So we're going to make this, and then we're going to start doing some decorating. We're going to attach our closure for the book, and we'll see how far we can get today with this video. So let's start with this. So I have cut 4 pieces that are 5.5 by 8.5. So we want 4 of those, and these are all done out of 8.5 by 11s. And 2 of those, you're going to take them and you're going to score them on your 8.5 inch side. For 2 of these, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch. Again at 4 1/4 inch. And then at 8 inch. Okay. So again, on your 8.5 inch side, score at a 1/2 inch, 4 1/4, and 8 inches. And then we're gonna fold these in. Our 2 1/2 inch ones on the end, we're gonna fold those in. Okay, and then this gets folded like this. So it ends up being just like that. Can you see that? Okay. So again, we're going to fold these in. And then we're going to fold that. Okay, so that's 2 of those. Now on the other 2, we need to score them at, let me get them separated here, a 1/2 inch and 8 inch. 1/2 inch, 8 inch. Okay. So that's those 4. Now our next 2 are going to also be cut from one sheet of 8.5 by 11, and you're going to cut 1 at 6 inches and then 1 at 5 inches. The 6 inch piece is going to be 6.5 or 6 by 8.5 inches. So the total width of your 8.5 page, you're going to score that at a 1/2 inch and 8 inches. Your 5 inch piece is just going to be cut at 7.5 inches wide. So you're going to cut 1 inch off of that. That's your 6 pieces. Your 6 by 8 inch, 8.5 inch piece is your very back panel. What we're going to do with that is we're just going to take it and we'll add some score tape to it. There we go. Oopsie. You can just glue. I think I'm going to add a little bit of score tape to this one just to let this grab quicker when we glue it on. Otherwise, I would just use glue. All right, so that's our back panel. Now I'm going to take my corner rounder here. I'm just going to round the tops of that. You could use a decorative punch or nothing at all if you want. There we go. So that's our back piece. I'm going to set that aside a second. Now you're going to take one of your two 5.5 inch pieces. We mark both of those. This is a 5.5 too. So these are both our 5.5 pieces. You're going to take your ones that you made a V or a W or a very short W. And you're going to take your flaps, this part here, and we're going to glue that to the center there. So I'm going to be lining this up to my left-hand side, and I'm going to be fastening just this one side down. Now my 1/2 inch hinge here on this is going to be folded in. So keep those folded in. And again, we want to come in with this, and we want to line that right up there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I have this zoomed out for a different project. Let me zoom in so you can see better. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to use my glue, and this is Art Glitter Glue. And I'm just going to put that on there. And you can use tape. Okay. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to keep this up in the air so I don't get glue all over my paper. I'm going to line up that corner and the bottom edge, and then make sure I'm lined up over here. I'm just going to kind of hold that, and then I'm going to walk this down like that. And it should be perfect. Okay. Grab my thing here. I'm going to squeeze that down. Put it up. Double check it. Perfect. Now I'm going to flip this just this way. So now this is on the right. I'm going to keep my flap underneath. And I'm going to take my second one. Oopsie. And that's also going to be, these flaps are going to be facing the middle. But I want it this way so I can see this corner here really good. No, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, like this. I'm sorry. Got myself all confused. What did I do? Okay, here we go. So this one's going to go this way, and this one here is going to get glued down this way. Okay? So I'm going to put a bead of glue here. Got myself turned around there a little bit. Alright. I'm going to line this up in the corner here. Keeping that up in the air so I don't get glue all over. Make sure I'm lined up. Top and bottom. Press that down. Glue on my finger there. Okay. And they should meet up right in the middle there. Like so. So this is what you'll end up with. Okay? Your two flaps will be, your two hinges will be connected there. And then this will be open like this. Okay? So now fold those down. Now you're going to take your other one, and that's going to face, these are going to face up, okay? All right. So we're going to take and we're going to add some glue to these. Okay. I'm going to go over to my left side. I'm going to hold this down with my pinky. I'm going to hold this one down here too. But I'm going to match that up on my left side with my hinges facing up. Making sure my bottom and my top edges are lined up. And I'm just walking that towards those two hinges in the center. And there we go. Give that a burnish there. Rub that down. Wipe away any glue. Okay. And before I mess with that too much, I'm just going to let it sit a couple minutes here. Art glitter glue does pretty good. So now this should open up like that. And also open up like that. Okay. Oops, get that back on there. Now your 5" by 7.5" is going to get attached right to the front here. But before I attach that, I'm going to put it on like it's going to be, like it's supposed to be, down at the bottom there. And I'm just going to make a pencil mark because it's a 1/2 inch shorter than the other part. So I'm going to make a pencil mark on those hinges that are left there. What I'm going to do before I attach that paper is I'm going to just cut that right off. So right like that. You can do it afterwards if you don't get it now, but it's a little easier to get to right now. Again, we're just going to cut there and cut there. So now we're going to take our 5" by 7.5" wide, and we're going to put some glue on this hinge here, and some glue on this hinge here, and then we're going to run a bead of glue right along the bottom here because this is going to be a pocket. So I'm going to close that off. I'm going to line up to the bottom of this here. There we go. Okay. Run that right along there until I meet that side. There we go. And burnish it. Little glue squeezes out. Take care of that. Okay. All right. So that is our pocket. So we got a pocket, a flip, and now we're going to take this piece here, our flips are facing back, and we're going to attach that to our base, which was 6" by 8.5", and that will give us this pocket here. So we're going to put some glue here on this hinge. Oops. Okay, glue on this hinge. Run a bead down along the bottom to close up the pocket. Whoops. Oh, goodness. There we go. Now we want these flaps that we had taped earlier. We want those facing down. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to line up my left corner here and the bottom. There we go. Give that a little press from the top here, and then we'll flip it over and do it from the bottom. There we go. Open those flaps and give that a good press. That way we're not working through all those thicknesses, we're working directly with the page we're attaching. Okay. Put our flaps back in. So we've got pocket, flip, flip, pocket, and then this will be a pocket. There. Now we've just created that. So now let's go ahead and attach that to this. But first we got to decorate this page. And I will show you what papers I'm using for this recipe outline. I've decided to go with Authentique. And I'm going to be using the Homestead Collection kit. It comes with a sticker sheet, and it comes with these papers here. So they're double-sided, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4. This comes with 6 papers that are double-sided. Now I've pre-cut this one and this one, which is the apple on the back, and then this has the farm animals on the back, for my back and my front. So I have those already. So you get 2 of each. So I've got one of these and one of these. So let's decide. Oh, and I also am going to be using, because this is not going to be enough paper, I don't think. So I also have the Homestead Collection, and it comes in the packet instead of the kit. So that has some of the same papers, but it's also got some different ones. And I don't know how much I'm going to use of it, but I really like some of these other papers that are in here, almost better than in the pack, but they're all beautiful. So, but you can see that's got different, it's got different papers in it than the other. Same, but some added too. So that's what we're going to be using. So let's see what we want to cover this with. So this is our front page that we had here. It's the one with the gatefold, and then this holds the gatefold shut. So that's the front of page 1. We're going to be attaching what we just created, this, on the back of page 1. So some of it's going to be seen. I think I'm going to put it down lower, and then we can utilize this space up here. So let's, do I want to cover the whole thing? You know what? I think we can get away with using less paper by not covering the whole thing. Let's see if this is, okay. This was from the back side. I used this on the back. I'm going to use that on the back cover. So I think I want to use up my scraps. I think we can get away with using that right there. So let's do a measurement here. I'm just going to mark it. It's going to be the easiest way. And I'm going to stay about 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So I'm going to do this the easy way this time. Okay. Got my pencil mark there. And like I said, it's going to be about 1/16 of an inch. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And I'm going to be using antique linen to ink. Now a lot of it's probably not going to be visible on some of these pieces because it is a lighter ink. But we're going to use it anyway. There we go. All right. You can use tape. I'm going to be using my glue. I just love this vintage style. It's so pretty. Alrighty. Now if you don't want to drop it down that far, that's fine. You can use more of your paper and move it up if you'd like, but I'm thinking of conserving my paper because I'd like to try to not mess with that other one if I don't have to. All right, there we go. So not going to be visible on the bottom, so I think we're good. Let's peel this tape off here. There we go, and I'm going to add some additional glue. This is going to get the most wear and tear, is this part here, because of the pulling of the mechanism. And we're going to put a bead right along the bottom because we do want to close that pocket up. Okay. All right. Kitchen frame here. Line up my bottom there, my bottom there, my sides. Now this is the same width as the page itself, but we have 1/2 inch gussets in our pages, so we should be good. You gotta try to get through all those pages there. Press really hard. There we go. And we'll turn through here and we'll go through the side here. Maybe we can get there. Okay. All right. All right, so we're just going to stop there with decorating the rest of this page, and we're going to go on to our other things. In order to connect this, we had to decorate that first, or I guess you could have slid it under, but it's easier to do that right now. So let's get our book back out here. There we go. We have the flip on the left-hand side here. And what I've done is I've taken and I'm going to make a flap to help hold this shut. So I've cut a piece 2 1/4 inches wide by 8 inches long. This is just a scrap piece. I then scored it at 2 inches and 2 1/4 on the 8-inch edge. So we have just a little gusset. And what we're going to do, and I pre-attached my magnet, we're going to take this and we're going to lift our flap up. We're going to remove our panel there. And this is just going to get glued right to that. So we want this underneath our paper that we decorate with here. So let's attach that so that doesn't get, and we're going to, you want to glue down the part that is going to have the opposite of your magnet. And I attached my magnet already so I wouldn't forget. So I'm going to bring that and I'm going to attach it right, and eyeball it, and attach it so it comes down to the bottom there like that. Let's make sure that this closes. Oops, come on. That closes. A little crooked there. Just a little crooked. I can slide you down. It's connected pretty good. There we go. All right. So now our next magnet is going to be attached to here. So I've already got my second magnet on here. So I'm going to grab a piece of tape, lift my magnet up, put it back down, and then I'm going to I'm going to keep this kind of up here because I don't want this flattened out. Otherwise, that's not going to work. So I'm going to kind of hold that up with my fingers, and then I'm going to lay my magnet down. Okay. Whoopsie. And I'm just going to press on each side of that magnet. Get that tape to catch. There we go. Now we can smooth it down. If you pull it, then that's not going to do any good. Your magnet will be in the wrong place. So we've got that. Let's take and put our cover on. So I want this open when I do my closure, because actually we gotta have it closed first. Here we go. I don't want to poke a hole in that when we do it. So let's start with getting it marked. So come on in and bring your book together. And then I use these clips that I get at the dollar store. You can get them at in your supplies too, for your office supply stores or Walmart or wherever. So we're just gonna clip that so it holds it in place. Then what I did was I come down and I marked at 5 inches, so halfway down, and then I drew a line across here so I knew where my 5-inch line was. I'm going to be using the Prima Marketing latches. There's 2 in a pack. I just reseal my pack when I'm done so I don't lose the pieces. But the number for that, item number is 990336. So I've already taken one. Now I'm going to have the one with the actual hook is going to be on the right hand side, and I'm going to do it so it goes down in. And we're going to take that, we're going to take this and match it up to our line for our middle. And I'm just going to kind of hold that right to the edge of this 4-inch flap here. Okay. And I'm just going to draw 2 circles. Okay. Now this one I'm going to bring in, and I'm going to bring it just up to where that meets this lip here of the 4-inch edge. And I'm going to make sure it's centered on my 5-inch mark, or as close as I can get it. And I'm going to hold it with my finger, and I'm going to make 2 circles. Okay. Now this comes with brads, and we want to do this now so that when we want our brads to be underneath our paper. So we're going to cover the front here. First I'm going to poke my holes, and we're going to cover the front, and then we'll know exactly where our holes are. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover our front piece there. First let's make our holes. I'm going to use a little, I don't know if you call them an awl or whatever you call them, I'm not sure. Very sharp pokey tool this one is, it's metal. So I want this open because I do not want to go through that. Cover my glue. Too many things in my way here. Okay. Let's turn this so we can see it. Okay, so I'm going to kind of support this underneath, but I do not want to stab myself. So I'm going to press right in the center of that. And it goes in pretty easy. There we go. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Just kind of poke it through. And that should make it easier for us to find our marks with our top part. And we can also go from the bottom up to make a little hole in our paper. All right, so we can close this for a second. And we are going to, I chose the top piece here. Is what I cut down for this, and I chose this corner here for my left side of my cover. And then you have this piece left over here, so I trimmed that down to fit here. So that ended up being trimmed down to, this one is 7 7/8 wide by 9 7/8 high. So it's like a 1/16 of an inch smaller along the whole edge. Okay. This one here was 3 7/8 wide by 9 7/8 high. And that also will be about a 1/16 of an inch. And we're not gonna do the spines on either side because we're gonna cover that with something else. Okay, I think burlap is what we're gonna cover that with. But we got to get this on so that we can get our hinge on. Okay, we want to proceed with the hinge because we want to cover our inside pages, and that's got to be done before that. So I'm gonna lay this flat here so it's a little easier to work on. Alright, see if I can get my edges inked here. You can see it a little bit more on this paper now. I just want it to look aged. And we'll decorate the cover later. See what we can do. We'll have room off to the side of our closure. Do this one at the same time here. Authentique is a really nice line paper company. They come out with some really pretty papers. Now they have this kind of cardstock, or decorative cardstock, and then they also have a textured too. This one is just the regular. When I purchased this, that's what it was. I did not get the, just kind of looking at test fit it. There we go. Glue. Okay. Pull it down a little bit. We'll pull it back up a little bit. All right, there we go. Not quite even. Okay. Try to get that even there. Put more glue on if I don't get it done here pretty quick, huh? Oh my goodness sakes, Deanna. All right. Still not lining up where I want it. There we go. Let's see if that's better. All right. There we go. Let's see if I got enough glue to hold it now. All right. Now we want to make sure that this is going to be facing the right way. So just like that. Okay. And I'm going to keep it closer to this edge because this is going to get wrapped anyway. And I don't want to lose that truck there. Oops, I am sorry. This book is quite big. All right. I like the bigger albums, but even on my good sized workspace here, I have to watch it. Okay, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna move closer to my left hand side here. Okay, perfect. Again. And since we're got this flattened out here before we add our pages, let's put the back piece on here. Which is a glue on my hand here. Maybe I should have went with a darker. That'll be all right. There we go. This piece was cut at 7 7/8 wide by 9 7/8 high. Okay. So I've got, you can see where that bends there. And you can see where it bends here. And that's going to get covered. It doesn't have to be, I'm just kind of worried about my top and my bottom, because again, we're going to wrap that with something else. So I'm not too worried about how far away I am from those edges there, because that is going to get wrapped. But I do want my top and bottom to, right, here we go. Perfect. All right. So now let's go in and we're going to, from the back side here, we're going to gently poke through to make those holes so we know right where they're at. And then we'll make them again from the front. We're going to open this up so we don't poke holes in that. There we go. And right here. Right there. Okay. Let's spin this around and find it from the front here and go back in the full way. Okay. Same on this side. Find them on the front and poke them back in. There we go. All right. So let's attach this one first, which is our hook. Alrighty. So I'm going to put some of this glue on this metal here. I typically don't use hot glue with metal. The reason being is as soon as hot glue hits the metal, it seizes up pretty fast. And this art glitter glue should work pretty good. I'm also going to put a little bit of glue down in those holes there. Oops, if I can get my brads to go in there. There we go. There's one. There's two. There. I'm going to hold those with my fingers so I'm not moving that around. And then I'm just going to open those. You can take anything, just flatten those down. Okay. There we go. We're going to let that seize up there. Okay, now let's do a test fit here. Whoopsie. Back open. Let's get our other piece. Let's bring this in here. And we want to do a... I can't clamp the top, but I can clamp the bottom. Kind of help work as an extra pair of fingers there. And the reason I can't is because I want this out of my way. I'm like looking for my other brads. There they are. So let's see here what we got. And I'm just going to hold this with my fingers and make sure that it closes. All right. And it is not. So let's unclip this. Let's get this back out of my way so I can hold right on to this here. All right, my holes should be right there. All right, I think we're going to be good. Looks pretty good there. All right. We're going to get that out of our way a second. And we'll bring it back in just a minute here. Let's put some glue down on our metal plate on the back side. There we go. We want to position that over top of our holes. A little dab of glue in each of those. Bring in the brads. Now we're just going to put the brads in the holes there. Oopsie. Oh my goodness sakes, where's my hole? I gotta turn this where I can get it better here. Oops. Brads are bending. There we go. Okay, before I attach those brads, I want to bring this in and make sure that this closes here. Just like that. Let's see how that lines up there. I'm going to open that back up. Just want to double check before you fasten everything down. So we're good there. Let's open up our brads. And we'll still be able to move the brads. We just won't be able to move the plate once it's dry. Okay. And I've got my fingers underneath on top of those brads. So when I flatten that they don't push away. Okay. All right. So that should be good. Just like that. I'm going to do another test fit here. Just like that. All right. Now we're going to leave that alone a second to let it dry up. But it should adhere pretty good. And we'll have room to decorate over here, you know, with any raised embellishments here, and we still can decorate here, and we'll be fine. Okay. So now we want to, let's get it right out of our way. Let that dry. Now our removable recipe page here. Let's see which one's which. All right. So what I've done is I've pre-assembled my recipe cards. I'll show you what I did. I took 1-inch strips of just the craft cardstock from Hobby Lobby. And it comes 6 inches long. And then I scored it at a 1/2 inch, folded them, burnished. Now I'm going to open it up so it's still like a little mountain. And these are also, I'll have to look, there's a name for them. What is that? I know I've said it before, but we'll do it while we're right here. It's Paper Studio Measure and Mix recipe cards. So we're going to put a bead of glue on here. And this is just an old Cricut mat that I don't mind getting all nasty. Rather than throwing it away, I use it as a thing for gluing on. We're going to line right up to that score line. And burnish that down. Make sure it's really good. Now if you do end up with a little hangover piece there, just go ahead in with your scissors and go ahead and snip that off. It's not a big deal. Just snip that off. So that's how I did that. I did what I thought I would need for what we were going to work on today. So I did 8 for this removable panel. And I did 6 more for page number 1 where we hold that gatefold closed. Okay? Now I want to come in with this, and I want to be about 2 1/4 inches down on this. See, I got a little bit there yet. All right, not a biggie. It might show when we're all done. So we're going to cover this first because we won't be able to cover it afterwards. So let's go ahead and choose our paper. Now it's going to be mostly covered, so let's pick something that we like, but something that we're not going to miss if we don't have it. How about these apples? Let's use these apples. All right. Now this was 7 7/8 by 9 7/8. Just taking a look at it. Yep, 9 7/8 by 7 7/8. So we're going to trim this down, and if it was 9 7/8, let's trim it down to 9 3/4 high by 8 3/4 wide. So I'm going to cut my 8 3/4 first. Save the most of the paper. 9 3/4. Is that right? No, that's not right. What did I just do? 8 3/4. 7 3/4. Not 8 3/4. 7 3/4 by 9 3/4. Oh my goodness, Deanna. 7 3/4. As soon as I looked at that, I knew it was too wide. Okay. That's all right. We'll get used to that. There we go. That's better. I knew instantly when I cut that was not right. I suppose if you glued the plaid down there, you might be able to use the lines in the plaid to line up your... go. Okay, I want to make sure I got the right end going up, otherwise my magnets might not match up when I go to put it back in. And if I have to flip it, then my apples would be upside down. If you don't have a pattern, it won't matter, but if you have a direction, then you want to make sure you keep that in mind. There we go. All right. So 2 1/4 inches, and I want to make a mark on here and on here. I'm just going to draw a faint line for this first one here. Oops, where are you? And then we can go back in and erase that. There we go. That way when we come in here, we can line that right up there like that. Okay, so we are, let me see here. This inch. I think we can do just about 1 inch from each edge almost. Yeah, not quite. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that and center it. And this should give me enough room to get this all the way down. If we run out of room before we get to the end, then I'll be all right. But I should have enough room. Yeah. Whoops. There goes skirt, huh? All right, so I'm just going to eyeball this for my left and right side. Oops, someone is here. It's all right. She's doing her job. Probably UPS or something. So I'm going to line that up, and I'm going to kind of put it where I think is going to be pretty close to the center. Sorry about that noise. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's probably the mail lady. Okay, so that's our first flip. Our next one, we're going to come right up against there. We want to keep this even if we can. All right. So let's put our glue on here. Alright. Well, she is not happy about whatever it is. I'm going to line that up and hopefully keep that like that. We're going to close this, make sure we're good. Once you start getting off a little bit, it will just continue to get worse. 1 second. So sorry about that. I was right. It's the mail lady. I wanted to make sure she has 2 barks. One is a friendlier bark, but it still sounds pretty bad because she's a big dog. And the other one is something's wrong, you better come look. All right. Now that is cooked already. Okay. I think we're good. I think we'll be all right. Whoopsie. There we go. Concentrating on the dog instead of what I'm supposed to be doing here. All right. You turn off the phones, you do all that stuff, and you still have things that happen. That's what happens when you... And you never probably notice it on a normal day, but as soon as you're taping, It's like, oh my goodness. All right. Let's bring this back there. Just like that. And I'm not pressing down. Whoops. Looked pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. Next one, number 4. And again, I'm not pressing down, just looking. Okay. Whoa, that just shifted. Okay, we're good. Got it back there. Okay. Okay. Number 5. Pretty sure I figured out I could get 8 easily coming down there. And the reason I went down a little bit further is because I want to put a sticker at the top there, a decorative sticker at the top there, use up some of those. I thought it'd be pretty on there. Oh, pretty good. Yep. Number 7. And I like doing it this way because then you can, even though this is going to be upside down, it doesn't really matter. You can still finish writing your recipe on there. So many recipes, you need more space on the back too. So I wanted to make it so you were able to finish writing your recipe on the back if you needed that space. Now also by putting this hinge on there, what it's done is it's you're missing that rest of that black with little dots. If that bothers you, you can go in and remake that with one of your ink pens or your, you know, just draw another line in there if you want. It doesn't bother me, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, we should be able to get this one right back in there. But if it bothers you, or if you're making it for a gift for somebody and you think that would bother them, then by all means go in there and recreate that line. Okay. Woo. I don't want that. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. There we go. Now I know that's kind of bent there because that's so stiff, but I'm going to just try to break that up a little bit. All right. All those cards, and they're heavy because they're, and then you get so many of them. Boop, just like that. Now we might have to, before we put something here, we might have to, you know what, I think I'm going to slide a belly band, or make a belly band to go over that, or a band to go over that, just to help hold that in, because we don't want that. That's a lot, and it's going to be pressure on there, so we don't want that. So let's create a band to go along there. And we're probably going to have 2 pieces of paper. Yes, these are scrap pieces, and this is the heavyweight cardstock here. So these are just scrap pieces that I had in my stash. So let's go ahead and looks like we can do a 1/2 inch score. Let's see what happens when we, this is 11 inches long, so it was from an 8.5 by 11. So we're going to score it a 1/2 inch and 10.5. Fold that over. All right, so let's just do a test fit here and see what we got. Oh yeah, so that'll work. That'll work perfect. So now we can just take our other piece and what we'll do is we'll glue this down and then we'll trim it off. Okay, so on this little clip here, let's add our glue. Okay, line that up. And sometimes we run these things where you just have to think on your feet, I guess. If you don't put it together, and I didn't see no sense in wasting all my recipe cards on my practice, so I want to make sure that this is going to slide on there. So if I have this here, like that, and I'm going to be able to slide that on there. Yeah, I think so. See, come on. So what I think we want to do is have it on here before we glue it. That way we can get this band to be right where we want it. We want it kind of loose enough so it fits over, but tight enough so that does. I'm going to bend those a little bit there. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to add some glue here. And if it doesn't work, then we'll come up with plan B. And I'm not pulling that real tight. We want to just use this to help hold those down so that they're not pushing up against our magnetic flip. Okay? All right, so let's slide that off. Give it a good press here. We'll just take our scissors, and on the back side we can see exactly where we need to be, and we'll just trim that off. There we go. Now, let's try it again, see what we got. Start at the top so these are folded down, and that should slide right down there. Just like that. Come on, slide. There we go. Okay. Don't slide. There it goes. All right. There we go. Okay. All right, so now we can decorate that. And we have more apples, so why don't we use the apples? Or do we want to use the plaid? Okay. I kind of like the apples. But I also like the plaid. All right, let's go with the apples. Actually, no. Let's wait on that and see what other strips we get. We don't have to use all that right this second. So let's wait on that and we'll see what other strips of paper we get to decorate that with. But I do want to come in here with my sticker And I thought it is the sweet, simple things of life which are the real ones. So I think we'll take that sticker. And let's see, I'm just going to kind of hold it above there. And I think we can put that on a scrap piece and then cut around it. So let's just lay that on a scrap piece of paper. And then we'll fussy cut it. Just a little bit around there. Just give it a little edge. I am not the best fussy cutter, and I have a brand new Scan and Cut DS. Might be because I can't see it. There we go. Get the background there. That I bought in, when did I buy that? September, and it's still in the box. I haven't even taken it out. I just seems like on the days that I have a full day, it's just something, it's always something. I want a good full day just to mess with that, and I'm just going to have to put it on my calendar, I guess, and just do it, because by the time I think about it, it's like, oh, I had time to do that today. So I haven't even fired it up yet, but I want time to, without being distracted, to do anything else. Just to concentrate on that. There we go. Like I said, I'm not the best fussy cutter, but with that machine, that should do it for me. That would be nice, right? And we're going to just glue that right on there. Now, because this is a recipe book, I'm probably not going to do any like really thick embellishments on here. This is meant to be used, so I'm just eyeballing that, centering it. There we go. So I probably won't have a lot of bumped up things inside this. All right, let's put our belly band back on. And again, we'll figure out how we want to decorate that later on, what to do with that, okay? There we go. Let's bring our book in and see how it fits in there. See how we did. Alright, so let's open it up and see how we're doing here, okay? I want to know if I have to have stronger magnets. That one's going to be good. But I think I need stronger magnets for this. So we're going to do those right now. Now these are pretty good sized magnets. But I have stronger ones. So I'm going to remove that. And this is what you sometimes have to do when you start adding things. You've got to retest your magnet strength. Whoops, that last one I just put on there just broke. So before we get way too far ahead of ourselves, I don't have too many of them break. Must have landed on there just right. Sorry about bumping you there. All right. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Kinds of magnets here. Here we go. So now these ones come and they have a little plastic disc in between them, so they're easier to separate. But these ones are 3/4 of an inch wide, but they're very thin. So I should save those washers. Actually, put that washer back on there so I know which way my magnet's going. There it is. I want to make sure that I keep those. I don't want these breaking, but these should be strong enough to hold that. If it can go through that plastic and hold it, then it should hold them down. All right. And we got to remember we've got our closure on there now, so that's going to keep that bumped up a little bit. All right. Here we go. I'm going to put some glue down here to help that. Glue down there. All right. Get my tape. Now this is going to be covered with paper. Whoopsie. Oh, goodness sakes. Get up here. There we go. It's going to get covered with paper. While we're at it, let's add some tape over top of those brads there, just so they get covered. Oops. That was weird. Okay, half a piece of tape. All right. Let's put our tape here like that. And our other magnet. Whoops, that's the wrong side. Oh my goodness sakes. Ready? There we go. All right. Let's do the same over here. And I try to use the smallest magnets that I can get away with because they're less expensive, but sometimes you gotta have a bigger magnet. That's all there is to it. All right, let's make sure we're facing in the right direction. Whoopsie. Remove our belly band because we don't want magnets on the belly band. And we're going to line this up. So it's centered. Make sure we can do that. Okay. Right. So I just want to find that tape. Did I take that off? You ding dong. All right, let's try again. And it might be because I'm trying to go through such thick things here. Let me see if I can. There's my magnet. Oopsie. And this one's right here. Did you get it? Yes. Can't press down on that because of the closure and the thickness. There we go. Okay, now that should hold it. Alright. Slide the belly band back on again, make sure it holds. And it should. There we go. That's much better. Much better. That's holding really good. That way when you just want to look at those recipes, then you can pull that. And I'm confident that even with more paper, and this is how you can test that, put another piece of paper there. So that would be one for the top here. And then another piece of paper because you're going to have one on this side, and see how that holds? So then you know. So that's how you can test how strong your magnets are. If you, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, so let's finish covering this and this and this and that and this. Okay, all right. So we're going to do, let's do the back side of this. Let's get our paper and see what we like here. All right, we've got this on the front. And that, let's use, I like those little cards. Let's use this on the top of our flap here. Or do you want the barns? Yeah, let's pull the blue. So let's do this on the top. All right, so we want to measure. We have 7 3/4 by 9 3/4. So we're going to need to cut 7 3/4 wide by 9 3/4 high. 7 3/4 wide. By 9 3/4. Okay. Extra pieces here. All right. So that is going to be right there. I'm going to put a white piece under here just so you can see. Here, something white, just so you can see your edges. You want to keep track of that. All right, these magnets here. All right, you want to be able to see our page just like that. Okay, we want to remember to move that. This is, I like the back of that too. It's very pretty. I like that a lot. Oops. Oh. That could have ended badly. All right. So about like that. You should have about a 1/16 of an inch edge. And don't forget, you have that 1/4 inch gusset up there. You don't want to damage that. All right, and we're going to be gentle because we do have our thing on the top there. There we go. So let's flip our book around. Well, let's decide what we're going to put up there first. All right, so we got that. Magnets. Magnets. All right. So we need something when we go up. So let's see, how about let's see. All right, why don't we pull this in, because we have this here. So why don't we pull that in for our top page? So when this is here, then this will be up here. See? I like that. So that's going to be the same measurement, 7 3/4 by 9 3/4. Okay. We can, and it's not a bad thing to double check, just to make sure. So we got 7 3/4. Oh, 9 3/4. See? 9 3/4 by 7 3/4 is what we need to cut. Wide. Nine 3/4. I'm just looking at the other side of the paper to see what I was going to be cutting off. All right. So let's get this angled here. I got to be careful so I don't hit my keyboard there and mess up the video. All right, let's do it this way. There we go. Let's put this underneath there. Gives us a little better look at the thing. There we go. And I don't think it's going to matter if I do that to this one because it's so dark. So let's not. All right. On the lighter ones it shows up a little bit. On these darker ones it's just a waste of my time, I think. So, all right. We don't really have a direction on this one. So let's just get it even here. There we go. Now it's going to look like a little bigger edge there because of your 1/4 inch gusset, or your 1/8 inch gusset, I mean. Don't worry about that. All right. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? That looks good there. And this would be good for to glue down a whole recipe, maybe a handwritten recipe from a family member or one of your favorite recipes. And you can glue the whole thing right down there. It would look very nice. If it's like a vintage recipe that's handwritten, maybe by a grandmother or mother or great-grandmother, and you don't want to damage that then. So then what I would do is either maybe glue on a plastic sleeve or just make a copy of it on a copy machine and glue that down and not damage your original. All right, so got that. Make sure our magnet's going to hold. It should. Yes, it does. Okay. So let's put our belly band on. Here we go. We got to cover the back of this. So let's move this off to the side. And let's see here. What haven't we used yet? There's not a ton of paper in that. You know what? It's the back. Let's see. Let's see here. Maybe we can use some of our scraps up here and create. How wide we got here? Oh yeah. Okay. So we can do something like that and that. And we've got the apple, okay, and we've got this, okay, and we just need a thin strip. Yeah, I think we can do that. That way we're using up all these little strips. So let's cut them all the same width, okay. So we need them at the 7 3/4 wide. So let's do that. And I'm going to cut a couple at a time here, make it a little quicker. I don't have very much to cut off. Should be pretty good. All right. Okay. So we are just going to add these one at a time. That way we're using up our scraps. Ooh, that's a cool one too. I like that one. Which one do I want to use? I think we'll use the animals. Okay, bring that in. And I'll probably leave a little tiny gap between each one. Start at the top here. And since this is the back, this is a great place to do this at too, because it's not going to be where it's being handled a lot, I don't think. There we go. All right. Make sure to peel this off here. Our next piece. Let's see here. Let's do that. Okay. Move on our magnet. All right, we're going to leave just a tiny gap there. Okay. Next one. Yeah, let's do the flowers. Okay, you got a little gap there. Perfect. There we go. All right. Let's bring in our plaid, I think. And then we'll still be able to bring in our apples. Okay. All right, so then our last piece we'll cut down. All right, let's take off the tape. There we go. Last piece we'll cut down to fit that little place we have left. Oh, look, we got the little plaids there in the sheet too. That's cute. All right. So this last piece, we only need it to be, let's see, it's 3/4 of an inch. So we need 3/8 of an inch wide. 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to have to mark that. Can I do that on this one? be right. Sure, that doesn't look right to me. No, that can't be right. No. All right, let's mark it with our pencil here. I'm just going to mark it. That's the easiest way to do it. You get down to these small measurements, and the at least my bigger ones don't like to cut that small. So let's see here. I think we'll be good with it. Let's see here. And it's crooked. So this end here is smaller than that end. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get that back to the size I need it. So right here, so I want to bring this over that way, just like that. Okay. All right. Now, let's see if that looks right. All right. Another way to do it is to kind of fold it. You don't want to crease it, but fold it and match it up, and then kind of just trim it to where it is equal, which wasn't very far off. There we go. All right. Goodness gracious. Okay. We'll see how we did. Might have to, well, it looks like that center is going to be bubbled out there. So I'm just going to grab this and trim that down to match. See, it looks like it should be the same as the blue. So we're just going to, since we got that right there, we can see it with that little blue line there. There we go. Otherwise, I think, oh, look at that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go. All right. So we've got this. We've got that. Now our belly band. I think I'm going to go with this as part of the belly band. Okay. Where is my belly band? Right here. Okay. We might be able to do one side one and one side the other. So let's figure this out here. All right. I think we might be able to get away with that. Maybe. What's our half? 2 1/8. Yes, we can do that. I'm going to cut this right down in half at 2 1/8. And we'll be able to use one for the front and one for the back. 2 1/8. We need those 9 7/8 long. Our belly band is 10. So 9 7/8 long. There we go. So we can do this on one side and we'll do this on the other side. Perfect. I think then we'll just do the back panel of that flip, and that will do it for today's video. I think we're getting right out there on time. So we'll do that. And hopefully it hasn't been too long of a video for you today. All right. There we go. All right, put this. Okey-dokey. You can put whichever one you want forward, whichever one you want backwards. It doesn't really matter. Switch it up every now and then. All right, there's our belly band. Okay, so now we need this bottom piece here. All right. So that needs to be 7 7/8 by 9 7/8. 7 7/8 by 9 7/8. So let's do 7 7/8 by 9. Ooh. Let's do that one. Okay? Like that. Dokey. 7/8 by 9 7/8. Go. Pull the tape. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. I know it's going to take at least 2 more videos, I think. We've still got to decorate all of our pages. We got to put in our expandable folders on here. So we've got quite a bit to do yet. So at least 2 more videos, possibly more. But I'm for sure guessing at least 2 more that we're going to have to do. All right, let's put some glue on these. Help hold that down a little bit better, okay? This is very pretty paper. I don't think you could go wrong by trying to find this collection. You want to be careful not to press on that. Remember, that's the side that are closures on, so we don't want to bend our book. And you know, I hate working around closures like that, but you don't have a choice when you've got a closure like that. All right, let's see here. Okay, I think we're going to end it there today. When we come back next time, we'll start right here with our little flip up there. In fact, I'm going to just round these off because I do want to round those corners on that. But we'll start there, and I hope you enjoy my videos. And if you do, I would hope that you would consider subscribing to my channel. And if you do decide to subscribe, please hit that bell so you can be notified every time I put up a new video. And if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. Those are always appreciated. And I will be back with you soon. Next week we'll put up another video. And until then, I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.